Warning, the following is entirely satirical and should not be taken as truth or fact. Styles Rebel Radio and the Rebel Podcast do not own any copyrighted material that may be included in this broadcast. Viewer discretion is advised.
Kids yearn for the mines, man. Put them back in.
Put them back in the mines.
Put them back in the mines.
Suspend the show right now.
You're gonna zipline directly into the harpoon?
Yeah.
What do you know about planes?
I know a lot about planes.
Buckle in, dude. It's gonna suck.
Put your hand on the screen.
How did they find out? Who was the one?
This show has gotten infinitely more gay.
The mystical land of New Jersey.
I don't understand how the laws in this country work anymore.
Welcome to the Rebel Radio Show, live, uncut, and uncensored on WSRR Radio. We're saving the underground music scene. Am I right, Shaney?
Hey, everyone.
On the board is Jules.
Hello.
I'm Radio's Rebel DJ Style. Speaking of the underground music scene, quick shout out to the FUs for sending us some shirts and some stickers.
I didn't put mine on, but
No.
I got the same one as Style. That's super kick-ass of you guys to send us some stuff. So
And we've also got some extra swag over there, too, that maybe we'll give out here at a later date. So
yes,
WSRR
RXD
Radio.
swagger. Sorry, I'm getting hyped.
216-859-8699. Of course, that number to text in while we're live on the air today. Or if you're listening in podcast form every Wednesday at 10 a.m., that number still works 24/7, 365. It's live, just like the Discord server. You can join at stylesrebelradio.com or WSRRradio.com. Just don't text and drive, or you might end up getting pulled over. And you better hope that there's a person in that car.
Don't be a robot. Don't be a self-driving car. And
We do have a
you won't get
CAPTCHA
pulled
test when you text the hotline.
There's a CAPTCHA test when you get into a car. You just have to pick what pictures are a slide.
Yeah.
It's like, ding ding ding. Yeah. So there was a car driving down the other side of a highway road, I guess, and cops pulled it over.
Yeah, so there was a self-driving taxi, and it was driving the complete opposite lane, straight down the opposite lane of the road, and a cop pulled it over, and so he gets up to the window, he knocks on the window, there's no one in the car, and the window rolls down, the car pulls over, which I think is interesting.
The window rolls down, no one in there.
I want to see the look on the cop's face.
Car door hook hand.
Yeah, car door hook hand.
And so no one's in the car, and this automated message starts playing, and I'm assuming it puts him on with a representative, because the story goes in detail about how he does talk to someone over a recording or over the phone.
That's so wild to me.
Yeah.
You can't be presented with registration or a legal driver's license. How is this actually legal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It says connected to rider support in a robotic voice. So that's awesome.
And this call may be recorded for quality assurance.
Yeah, that's so good. The cop's just like, what the fuck is going on right now?
Yeah, this had to be a first for the cop, right?
100%. I mean, it's one thing for the car to be driving on the other side of the road and having some crazy person driving it. Sure, that's one thing. But pulling over any car and there not being a driver, that is brand new territory for that officer, for any officer.
Yeah, I genuinely am. I applaud the officer for staying there and figuring out the situation, because I would have been beyond confused at that point.
Right. Do you call another officer hey, nobody's fucking Yeah,
I just pulled someone over and there's no one here.
Yeah.
I just pulled a car over?
No one's here.
And there is no one driving it.
Gonna make on the driver. There is no driver.
It's John Cena.
It's John Cena.
Hey, that's for later. That's so, and being connected to tech support or whatever.
Yeah.
So insane. So I imagine being the officer and being like, hi, this is Officer blah blah with the blah blah sheriff's department. Your taxi's on the other side of the fucking road right now.
What is the response to that?
So the conversation that's reported on the body cam by thebyte.com, most credible source ever, says that the officer pulls the car over, he gets connected to rider support, as it's called, as the robot message says, and it kind of puts him on line with the call center. And he says, your car here is driving oncoming traffic. And the cop sat there, and the voice on the other end, I'm assuming from the call center, says, okay, I'll go ahead and look into that right now.
Wow.
This isn't a tech support situation. What do you mean you're going to look into it? It was on the wrong side of the road.
Yeah, the cop, I just want a freeze frame of the cop sitting on the other side of the road on hold outside of this car. Well, I guess I have to wait.
Music.
Yeah, the hold music playing through the car like radio. What the fuck? That's so crazy.
So what happens after the fucking... You can't issue a ticket, right?
Yeah, it says you're unable to issue a citation to a computer.
Yeah, so I assume if I have to, my best guess is the company gets a ticket of some kind. The company gets some kind of citation that's just in the form of like a bill from the city, I would assume.
The car has to be impounded, right?
And then, well, if the car's not damaged at all, the car
There's
probably
nobody
just
to
gets...
drive it home. And how can you trust the computer? Because it just drove backwards on a freaking...
It's definitely
It's not calibrated correctly.
It's definitely getting powered off immediately, and someone's coming to tow it.
You think?
Yeah, someone's definitely going to tow it. Either the company is going to have to pay for, like, the taxi company is going to have to pay a towing company for them to tow it back. You know what I mean?
Imagine the taxi company sending out just two dudes in a sedan. It's like, all right, you're going to have to drive the car back.
Yeah. I guess we're going to have to do this manually.
They send the self-driving towing company.
Yeah, I thought automation was supposed to make this easier.
Yeah, I mean,
have to drive the car now.
I guess that could also happen. Someone could just come out and drive the car back. But
we could just have a cop take the car, right?
Yeah, I guess. I really don't know how that would work because then, like, how do you shut off?
Cops don't take the cars. They call somebody to tow it. That's how that works.
But how do you shut off the automation in the car?
So my thought process is, I want to know how the rest of the tech support call played out. But my thought process was probably like the tech support guy was like, I'll look into that right now, and looked at whatever the fuck the diagnostics on the car were and went, oh, I'm going to change this so the car doesn't go to the other side of the road. And then it just kept going after that.
It just drove away.
Off.
It just drove away. Yeah, I guess.
The guy's like, okay, we've looked into it.
Problem solved. The cop is standing there on the side of the road. The car's driving back into the right lane. Like, problem solved, I guess. Like, shrug, problem solved. I have no idea. That's so wild.
The car just turns around.
It is a strange, strange world out there now.
Have you tried unplugging it and plugging it back in?
Where, does it say where this was at all in the article?
I don't know.
Arizona. Those motherfuckers.
They're always up to... They're getting as bad as the British, you know?
Those motherfuckers.
All right. New thing. They just drove it into the hole, you know?
Right into the crack in the ground?
Yeah.
You know, I think I fucking know a pigeon who might be up to something, all right?
Birds aren't real. The taxis aren't real.
Arizona's
What's going
not real.
on?
Our pets' heads are falling off. Yeah. No, this is a problem. Arizona, we have issues now, all right? We didn't have beef before, but now we do.
Well, I'm thinking, what's stopping the tech support guy at the taxi company from being like, you know what? I don't want a ticket and just driving the car off.
Right. I think because then does the cop... I'm assuming the cop takes down the plate beforehand so they can, like, contact the company and issue a ticket via mail or something like that. Like, yo, we know your car was on the side of the road.
I think it's interesting the car pulled over.
Yeah, I guess you have to. It probably is programmed to do that.
Like, notice the lights.
Yeah, right.
So you're telling me...
I don't fucking know how any of this shit works. It's all AI.
Well,
I'm not saying it's illegal. I'm just saying if I had flashing blue lights on my car, could I start pulling over the AI taxis?
My point being, like, I don't know how complex the programming of this taxi is. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, does it have I'm assuming it has 360 cameras all around it, and is programmed to notice things like police lights and shit like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
So you know, when you were like a kid, right? And you and your friend would go across the street from each other and you do like the fake rope thing.
Mm-hmm.
And like sometimes a car would stop to play along, right?
Yeah.
That's going to, in 5 years, kids are going to be just figuring out how to trip the sensors in the AI cars to make them stop completely.
Oh, wow.
It's not going to be like playing with the driver with the rope. They're going to figure out how to fucking mess with the cameras.
Find the blind spot in the camera.
Two suburban kids are going to be like on Discord and be like, hold on, I'm hacking the AI taxi that's driving by right now.
They're just going to buy like flashing blue lights off Amazon and hold them by the street.
Yeah.
So it drives by and stops the car.
Damn. What a world. Well, hey. I'm never getting into
so
one of those.
confused how this is actually legal because there's no one driving the car. There's not a licensed driver. There's nobody even in control if something goes wrong with the computer.
I think it's one of those things where they just kind of did it. Like, do and ask. I forget what the saying is, but do and ask for forgiveness
Yeah.
later. You know what I mean? Like we're just gonna make self-driving cars, and then you can make laws around our self-driving
Right.
cars. You know?
Yeah. I mean, there's a bunch of videos on TikTok and YouTube of the people just finding the issues with the self-driving Tesla.
Yeah.
There's a part in like New York where it will always stop in the red fire lane.
Really?
Yeah, like a bunch of
Interesting.
different YouTubers have gone to that corner just to try it out.
Interesting. That's
And
very
it only
interesting.
stops in that
There's
red
only one
fire lane.
redeeming quality about Tesla, and that's you can upload sound effects for your honk. That's the only redeeming quality.
For your GPS, you can have it look like Rainbow Road,
I'm just saying, like
That's
if I
cool.
could honk
Yeah.
and it's just a fart and people are just
Yeah.
confused.
really loud.
That's the only redeeming quality I have with the Tesla, is that
Yeah.
you can change your ringtone.
Teslas are cool. I was just having a conversation with someone about electronic vehicles, and I feel like the Ford F-150, the electric one, the Lightning
Yeah.
or whatever. I
Yeah.
think that is. I would get that before I got a Cybertruck, and I would get a Cybertruck before I got any Tesla. So
That's disgusting, and you should know that.
that's just my opinion. I think that the Cybertruck is cool. I would get it more. Like I like it more than I like any of the other regular model Teslas, S, X, whatever. But I like the Ford F-150 Lightning with like it's got like a headlight that goes all the way through the front. I think that's really cool looking.
I'd rather drive a '98 Pontiac Sunfire.
Hey, listen, I'm happy in my 2020 Yaris. Stop. I'm happy.
Toyota never got back to us,
Yeah,
so I'm a little pissed at them.
yeah.
I still want a 4Runner, but
Well, we'll get them.
Yeah, no,
Yaris
we'll-
for the gang is still a dream.
we'll work on them.
Yeah,
They'll come around.
the dream hasn't died.
They'll come around. Until they're making self-driving taxis, they'll come around.
Self-driving Yaris.
What if somebody was being taxied?
I'm just glad there was no one
Yeah.
in the car.
Yeah, that would have
yeah,
been
and they got
terrifying.
pulled.
The cop pulling the
How do
taxi
you-
over in the wrong lane. There's some guy freaking out in the back seat.
Yeah, like
He's
how
in, like,
would
fetal
you?
position.
How would you stop the car? I think I would get
I
in.
would
the,
try to
I
get
would-
in the driver's seat.
I would
Yeah.
get in the driver's seat and press the brake. Yeah.
But
What's
then,
stopping you regardless?
what if the cop is pulling you over and now you're the one driving like an asshole?
Right. Well, no, I think you can make the argument that, hey, look, I'm clearly in a self-driving taxi, and I was just trying to stop this thing.
I'm assuming they're going to have a camera inside the self-driving taxi.
Probably.
Since no one else is
Probably.
there to monitor.
Probably multiple cameras.
Yeah.
If they have like 360 cameras around the vehicle, I would assume they have more than one camera on the inside too.
But at the same time, if I call a taxi and one of these pulls up, I'm getting in I'm either getting in the driver's seat or
Yeah.
I'm getting in the passenger seat.
Well, I think you can. I think that's like part of the shtick is like you can get in the driver's seat
That's
if you
so
want.
weird.
Here's my overall take. I don't think I would order a self-driving taxi
Well,
unless
I'm saying if I just order a taxi and this shows up,
I'm not getting in.
I'm calling the company and be like,
yeah.
you forgot something.
Yeah, if I call a taxi service and a car with no human pulls up, I'm calling that taxi service and being like, listen, yeah, what you said, you forgot something. You forgot the person. I'm not doing this. I'm not taking that. That's just my opinion. I don't think I would willingly pay for a self-driving taxi.
That's fair.
And I think that what's unfortunate is we're probably going to get to a point where like that's going to be the norm. Is like
Yeah.
Uber and Lyft and shit like that are going to start switching over to self-driving taxis that are
Ooh.
branded with Uber. They'll be green or like the Lyft ones will be
Yeah.
purple, and you
That's
can get a
crazy.
hatchback or
Yeah, because they do have
Yeah,
a lot
you're
of
right.
issues where people like try to cram 4 people into the back seats of like
right.
Ubers.
And then that'll make a regular Uber be able to fit 4 people
Yeah.
comfortably instead of 2 people or 3 people. You know?
I just feel like car theft is going to go through the roof.
Oh yeah.
Cameras
Oh,
or
yeah.
not, if you start sending cars without drivers to people's house, you know how easy it's going to be to hotwire that thing?
I know we're seeing a lot of buzzwords today already, but Kia Boys. I mean,
Kia Boy. What else can you say?
yeah, Kia Boys.
Kia Boys.
It's gonna be like that.
216-859-8699. Kia Boys, sound off.
The Artificial Intelligence Podcast is the only show written, voiced, and scored entirely by AI. All episodes are available now on stylesrebelradio.com.
Hi, this is Melissa,
And hey, it's Matt.
coming at you from Synergy Music Studio.
We are a recording and production studio located on the south side near Chicago.
Check us out online at synergymusicstudio.com. We offer recording, mixing, and mastering.
And follow us on Instagram at Synergy Music Studio. Rock hard.
Everybody, this is the Pidge, and I'm here to tell you that I hate everything that you send me, but I love it at the same time because holy shit. That's all I gotta say to that. If you guys don't know me, I'm the Pidge, and I'm one of the members of the Styles Rebel Radio page. You probably won't hear me as much on the Rebel podcast because I'm away in Arizona, but every month I come out with the show. Submit your stuff into the Styles Rebel Radio Discord page under the Pigeonhole section, and it will be featured on the next show. Unless there's racial slurs. See ya!
Lose all your money trading Asian beads on the black market? StylesRebelRadio.com.
Here's the thing, right? You gotta be, what, like 16 to work a grill at a restaurant? Is that the rule? Something like that?
Yeah.
I know you had to be 18 to work at GameStop because you have to be able to sell an M-rated game.
Yeah.
You have to be 18 to work at most bars, which I think is weird that you can sell alcohol at 18 but not buy it.
Yeah.
I think gas stations are the same way.
Yeah.
I think you have to be 18, but that one probably gets slid a lot more.
And even at Walmart, they have to have somebody old enough to check you out if you have alcohol.
Well, here's the thing. Apparently in McDonald's, you only got to be about 10 to work the fryers.
Apparently in the play place.
Yeah. And, I wish this was a story about, like, Taiwan McDonald's that uses child labor. I wish that was the case.
Yeah.
But it's Louisville, Kentucky.
And Ohio. There was an Ohio one in there.
Kentucky, Indiana, Maryland, and Ohio.
Sweet.
So, like, that's 4 different states.
Yep. That's most of our listeners.
Yeah. Come on, guys. We got to get better. Yeah. 305 children across those 4 states.
Wow. 305? That's too many. That's child labor in your backyard, folks.
And so 2 of them were
Stop worrying about Sheen.
2 of them were under 10 years old. The headline, I'll read it really quick. 10-year-old children were found working at Louisville McDonald's until 2 a.m. 2 a.m.
Night shift babies.
Literally. So, yeah.
Can you imagine that story? Like going to school and like say, when should you do your algebra homework? Listen,
you have no idea.
I was making McGriddles at 2 a.m., dude. I don't want to hear your shit right now.
The grills were crazy last
10-year-old
night.
with black coffee, 5 o'clock shadow.
You don't know what I've seen.
5th grade is a rough year for this man.
Dude,
working
the lunch
till
rush
2
was
a.m.
crazy yesterday.
So, what is it? The Department of
Child labor?
Yeah, the Department
of Labor.
Yeah.
The Department of Labor was investigating this, and the investigators determined 2 10-year-old children were employed, but not paid, and sometimes worked as late as 2 a.m.
Can you consider it employed if you're not paid?
Yeah, they were doing the work.
They were doing the work. That's
And,
employed.
Not gonna lie, it said, I read it, they said it was the manager's children, the night manager's children. So
That's so crazy that it's not even like a franchisee owner's children or anything like that. It's just the manager's kids.
I wonder how the franchisee felt.
Yeah. Or if it's not a franchise, it's a...
You gotta think, like, the big boss was probably like, oh shit, the manager's getting all this work done solo. We're saving so much money not staffing the restaurant at 2 a.m.
Right.
The manager was probably like, I'm good as shit. Like, I can close the store by myself.
Yeah. That's probably how they got the fucking manager position. Piece of shit, dude. That's so crazy. Making your kids work at your job.
I mean,
all right, come on, kids. We got to go to my job and work.
I guess it's 2 a.m. at McDonald's, but did no one notice? No one noticed that, like, little Timmy was back there on the fries?
Yeah. Over the intercom, like, hello. What can I get you guys?
Oh, you're using the mobile app today?
A 10-year-old's voice. Come on, dude.
Little squeakers.
Yeah.
Like an Xbox lobby.
Yeah.
Voice cracks.
Am I playing MW2 right now? What's going on?
I mean, it's not funny. But
no.
It's terrible. It's terrible that the parents would do that.
Yeah.
It's
These
just,
people were fired, right?
I would
Their
hope.
kids were taken from them, correct?
Yeah, that's another thing that should probably happen.
If the Department of Labor was looking into this and they're like, oh, it's your kids, yeah, you're done. We're contacting child services.
Also, like, whoever the actual, not this manager, but the owner of this restaurant is, whoever that big boss of this restaurant is, probably needs some kind of fine too. Which probably have
They
some kind of
probably will get a
repercussion.
fine for using child labor.
I guess it is interesting looking at
knowingly
it.
or not.
Like, so none of us are parents, but from a parenting aspect, like, you want your kids to start working at a reasonable age.
10.
I don't know if 10 is a reasonable age, though.
At 10, they're like mowing the neighbor's lawn.
This dude gets home from work at McDonald's at 2 a.m. and his kid's sound asleep. And he goes, God damn it, why won't you get a job?
Get a job already.
You lazy piece of shit.
At
Watching
10,
cartoons. What the hell are you doing?
At 10, you're babysitting.
Oh,
Or-
you want non-off-brand Frosted Flakes? You better get your ass out there and work for it, then.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like 10-year-olds do lemonade stands.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and like it's something too where I think of like you have to be 16 years old to work the frying or like the grill or whatever. And like that seems reasonable. That's
yeah, you
fair.
can drive a car.
Right. That's
work a
fair.
grill.
That's reasonable. I think a kid working at McDonald's at 16 years old, totally kosher. That makes sense to me. It starts to trickle when it's like family businesses and you're like 11, 12, 13. And it depends on what you're doing and how much you're doing and what your responsibility is. And
if I'm not mistaken, within certain limitations, I don't think like using grills and shit like that falls under that. But I'm pretty sure if you own like a family-run business, you can have your kids work there.
So I think you can. I think there are probably stipulations in like child labor laws that are like family-run business.
Sure.
Like, there's probably a specific, section that has to do with family-run businesses
Like
and shit
how
like
many
that.
hours they can probably work a day.
Right,
and what the
right.
limitations of that are. Like they can wipe the tables. And
If they have to start getting paid after a certain amount of, and whatever, whatever the case may be, I don't know. But like, just thinking about it from a parenting aspect, if I owned, say, a restaurant and I had
eating wieners,
and I had a little 10-year-old kid, I don't know if I would necessarily ask them to work a shift at the restaurant. I might ask them to like clean the tables or something.
It probably wouldn't work out well.
Yeah. If they showed up and they were like, "Oh, let me help," I would be like, "Yeah, wipe the tables down."
Right.
But
do something small.
Drop some fries.
Mommy, can I come to work with you? Yep, you're on the fryers.
Yeah. I'm not telling little Timmy to drop the fries.
I'm gonna need these hoods deep cleaned too. The greaser's under the sink.
Yeah. That's just so crazy to me.
They really went full manager.
I think
that
I would
was
start
every aspect of their life. They were a manager in every aspect.
I think I would start letting them do that shit at like 14.
Sure.
I think 14 is a reasonable age.
I'd even argue 13.
No.
Maybe, depending. I think I could argue that. And that would be like I wouldn't let my 13-year-old kid work at another restaurant at 13, but I would feel comfortable letting my kid around my restaurant at
2 a.m. And I'm like, hey, clean the tables.
Yeah. Clean the tables. I'll show you how to make a burger and drop some fries.
Yeah.
And I'll get you learning or something like, like you can make the dinner if you want or
Not
something like that.
Running the line.
Right, exactly. I think that it's like a Professor Oak. There's a time and place for that. But now it's not the time nor place. Yeah.
I'm just saying, this doesn't happen if we automate McDonald's. Just fucking automate it, folks.
Yeah, we could automate the McDonald's.
This should be the stipulation. If you're caught with child labor,
you have to
automated McDonald's.
You have to have an AI McDonald's at that point.
You've lost the privilege.
Well, honey, the franchise is going AI. We're fucked. Computers are taking our fucking McDonald's now. Robo burgers.
I know we talked the other week about Chick-fil-A and the exorcism.
Yeah.
Coming in the next day. Imagine coming in the next day like, hey, can you cover overnight tonight? Why? I thought so-and-so covers it. Oh, no, that was just her and her kids we found out. So,
turns out that was 2 10-year-olds
in a trench coat.
On the fryers.
they were running front register. 2 10-year-olds in a trench coat and a McDonald's fedora.
It says there's a fine amount that the 3 franchisee owners got. But I can't see the amount.
It was 212,754 in civil money.
$212,000.
Yeah, 754.
754.
Yeah. In civil money penalties.
That's crazy.
For the child labor violations. So they have to pay a lot of money.
The owners of the restaurant now have to pay for something they apparently didn't know about.
Okay, hang on. I got the federal laws for child labor laws. Between the limits of 14 and 15-year-olds include work must be performed outside of school hours, no more than 3 hours on a school day, including Fridays,
Oh.
and no more than 8 hours on a non-school day. No more than 18 hours during a school week and 40 during a non-school. That seems like a lot of hours during a non-school week.
That's
a
very
full-time paycheck.
Well, that's very interesting.
Hey,
because
I was making a lot in high school.
Yeah.
Also, hang
I
on, no
think-
earlier than 7 a.m. and no later than 7 p.m.
Is that on any day?
With exception to June 1st and Labor Day.
What?
Yeah.
That's strange. Well, okay, I guess those are the days that like no one should be in work. I worked like later and earlier than I would go when I was younger. I started working my first job when I was 15, and
Yeah.
I would come in at
I'd be there at like 6:30.
6 a.m. and I would work like long hours. I would work like 4 to 10 after school, and so like and I would do that multiple.
That's more than 3 hours on a school day.
Right, I would do
That's
that.
more than 16 hours in a school week.
Well, and I would do that multiple days a week. Too.
Yeah.
I would do that like 2 or 3 days a week, and
That's
then like
crazy.
1 day a weekend. So
I want to know who got pawned off with the child labor laws. They're like, you know what? If it's not a school week, they can work a full 40 hours. That's a full-time job.
yeah.
40 hours dictates full-time, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well,
But
I think
it's
it's a thing of it's not
Consistent.
it's not a school week. They're probably thinking summer, and they probably are under the guise that kids want summer jobs. So
I guess, yeah.
let's let them work during non-school weeks way more so that they can make the money if they want to.
But
you
no
know?
later than 7 p.m.
What was
Not
it?
2 a.m.
What was it? 2018 Minecraft was the best-selling game of all time or something like that? Kids yearn for the mines, man. Put them back in.
Put them back in the mines.
Put them back in the mines.
Put them back.
Let
in
them
the
work a
mines.
40-hour week in the mines.
Dude, I'm saying let's put this is probably something that's already legitimately happening, which is scary, but putting kids in like virtual Bitcoin mining things, having kids
Acting like it's Minecraft and they're mining Bitcoin.
yeah, dude. Kids mining virtual Bitcoin for like sleazy people. That totally feels like something that would be like the plot of a movie or something like that.
I mean,
Yeah.
listen, all I'm saying is next time you go through the drive-thru at McDonald's and your burger tastes like shit, keep in mind it could be because it was a 10-year-old that made it. So don't go too hard on
yeah,
the
yeah. Don't pull back around and yell through the
Hey!
through the announcement the speaker.
No one ever taught you how to make a burger? 10-year-old and they're crying.
I tried my hardest.
Imagine I want to speak to the manager. They come out like, don't yell at my son like that.
yeah. How dare you yell at my children like that?
What?
What are you talking about? Yeah.
Buddy, it's 2 a.m. on a Tuesday.
Exactly. Why would you yell at them?
What does that have to do with anything? That doesn't give you the right to yell at children.
That's so 4 different states too.
Yeah.
That's us. That's us.
Yep. And I bet there's tons more is the thing.
Yeah, probably tons more that they didn't catch on.
I wonder,
True,
like,
yeah.
per capita, what is the general percent of illegal child labor? Because it's probably a lot higher
Probably
than
a
we'd
lot.
think.
Probably a lot because you have to think about how many jobs employ like family, friends, kids
Yeah.
under the table. You
Yeah.
know, that's always a big.
Yeah. 216-859-8699 if you're looking for a 2 a.m. shift and you're in 3rd grade.
Have a real job that requires you to get up at a reasonable hour? Lo-fi wake up, 3 a.m. through 6 a.m. weekdays.
I'm Jeff Stritch. I don't know Shane. I never met Shane. He's not on air right now. I'm on air. But you can catch Shane when he's off air because he's actually on air doing his show off air weekdays at 3 p.m. right here on WSRRradio.com.
You're listening to the Rebel Radio Show, legal in 47 states.
47 states because of child labor laws. That's what it is.
Amen.
They got us good. They really cracked down on us. And I know Alaska or not because we went off on Alaska about volcanoes or something.
Yeah, fuck Alaskan volcanoes. That shit doesn't exist.
That's what I'm saying. So basically what you're going to want to do is follow these steps. And this is from Sony. Make sure the child lock feature is disabled. That's poor timing. Try to open the disc tray. And if the issue persists, turn off the power to your DVD player, unplug the cord for at least 30 seconds and plug it back in. Then power on your device and try to open the disc tray again.
Okay. I was wondering what I was going to do.
Yeah, so If you're wondering how to fix the disc tray error on your Blu-ray Sony DVD player, there you go.
So, I went to Best Buy the other day. Just gonna kind of segue over.
Yeah.
We'll get into it. And I went to Best Buy and I was walking around looking for DVDs, and it was maybe like a solid 10 minutes of walking around through every section.
Why did you just felt like looking for DVDs? Was there a DVD you were looking for? Was it Pure Country?
Listen, I was going shopping. I was having a me day. I don't buy myself clothes or anything fun normally.
You just told me in the break you bought 4 pairs of pants.
This was the same outing.
The fourth wall.
This was the same outing.
So don't say you don't buy yourself clothes.
Well, I just did. It was the same venture, and so I was like, you know what?
Was it like a consolation prize?
I bought myself clothes, so I was like, you know what? I'm already out shopping. I kind of want to see if I can find some DVDs. And my reasoning for not going to like Target or Walmart or anything like that is because they always have the same DVDs, and it's such a small selection. Yeah. Walmart has a little bit bigger of a selection.
Well, they got the bins, right?
Yeah, they have the bins, which are nice, but
they're untrustworthy.
Yes. So I went to Best Buy because I knew that they had a big Blu-ray selection. No, nothing. Ventured through the entire Best Buy for a solid 10 minutes, nothing. I get to an employee and I'm like, hey, like, where's the DVDs? Where's the chapstick? You know?
Yeah.
And he's like, sitting on the toilet. And
damn, you had a hell of a day.
Yeah. So
and also this guy was like 10. So
yeah, he was 10. It was crazy. No,
he's like, what's a DVD?
He was like, we don't have DVDs. They stopped selling DVDs like 2 or 3 months ago at all Best Buys. They don't sell DVDs, Blu-rays, anything like that at all. They still sell home phones. They still sell a bunch of old tech. You know, they still sell old techie things that old heads still use, but they don't sell DVDs. Yeah, I said old heads. Old people. Hooligans. Those malarkeys. I don't know. Old people, dude.
Yeah.
Old people still use home phones and shit like that. There's still a market for home phones, so Best Buy still sells them.
That's weird.
There's still a market for DVDs and Blu-rays. Best Buy said, fuck you guys.
Is there?
Yes, 100% there is. 110% there is.
Didn't Marvel say like the last DVD they're producing was whatever the last Spider-Man was? Wasn't that their thing?
Disney said they were going to stop selling. Disney as a whole said they were going to stop selling DVDs in Australia.
That's right. I do remember that.
And we talked about that.
Yeah.
I don't even know when.
Well, because all the Walmarts in Australia stopped selling DVDs because of that.
Right. So it's definitely having a trickle effect.
Yeah.
Clearly. But so this leads into Sony is now killing off like recordable Blu-rays.
Yeah.
Meaning you're not going to be able to burn the DVD. Like you're not going to be able to burn the Blu-ray anymore. Mm-hmm. Which I didn't even know. And you brought this up, which is a good. That there was even a big market. Like I didn't even know there was a huge market for this sort of thing.
Right. So, number one, when was the last time someone burned a DVD?
Right. When was the last time someone was like, "Hey, man, I
burnt you a copy of Batman."
Right.
Yeah.
Because that kind of thing did used to happen. Yeah. You would get burned CDs or DVDs from an uncle or a friend.
And it had the Sharpie written on it.
Right. That was a thing that happened, and you'd get like 6 DVDs that were all different new movies. But nowadays, that kind of thing isn't nearly as common.
And to my knowledge, the reason that the format changed on these DVDs, not like the ones you buy from Sony, but they were for like Blockbuster, Netflix, Redbox, so people couldn't go and rent a movie at Redbox, burn it, and return it like the same day, and pay like 50 cents for it.
Okay, so I didn't know. So Redbox movies, you couldn't burn them?
No.
That's interesting. I did not know that. Yeah. I always figured that you could.
Yeah, and so that's why that was put in place.
Interesting.
But what's I'm trying to figure out is, and I guess theoretically, if you have the DVD, if you buy Spider-Man 1 from Sony, it's a Sony-produced DVD, right? If I go and buy Spider-Man, I guess I did purchase that DVD so I can do whatever I want with it. So it makes sense that they wouldn't, have that restriction where I can't burn the DVD if I don't want to, right?
Right.
But it's an interesting concept to do in 2024 because, like we said, who's burning DVDs?
Right.
And also this, and again, this is a very nostalgic conversation that I'm sure a lot of the listeners won't understand.
Sure.
And it's you had a CDR and CDRW or WR, one of the two, And so
it's WSRR.
Yes, sorry,
216-859-8699.
Send us your DVDs.
Yeah.
Via text.
Sorry.
Text us your DVDs.
Yeah, text us a picture of your DVDs.
Email me a hoagie. No, but so a CDR or a DVD-R is a DVD read, and then a RW or WR is a read and write. So one could be burned and one was just to play.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Sony is now getting rid of DVD WR or RW read and write.
Right.
And again, it's just an interesting move, and I guess it kind of makes sense if they're spending more money to be able to have you burn DVDs, and now they're just saying, you know what? No one's burning DVDs. Let's get rid of them.
You brought up a good point before recording. There are so many pirate sites now where you
right.
can just watch a movie online.
You can stream any movie for free if you really want to. You have to get a Fire Stick, but like still.
Well, there's also websites out there where you can literally just look up a movie.
Right.
You have to exit a lot of pop-up ads, but
right.
You can watch it.
But I think that's the reason for this is Sony realizes that they're wasting money having a read and write disc that they're producing when they could just make a cheaper, thinner disc that's just a read because no one's going out of their way to burn.
I wonder if Sony still produces like blank CDs or blank DVDs that you can. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if
there's
they
always that stack.
Right. If they are in the market of being able to profit off of burning CDs, you know what I mean? Because if they don't produce CDs and DVDs anymore, then it also adds to the fact of, well, then we're not going to make our DVDs burnable.
Right.
It's just very interesting to me because I didn't know that there was a big market for this. I didn't know about the write and the read and write thing. That's very interesting. It's just this whole DVD like wave, a Blu-ray wave that's like it's all coming to an end is very strange to me. And
2024 killed Blu-ray.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I collect these. I need more. Send me your Blu-rays, please.
Titanic.
Yeah, send me Titanic.
Yeah.
Please.
What I know we've had this conversation a little bit. I don't think this is going to be Blu-rays, DVDs, VHS even because that's becoming a thing. Yeah. I don't think these are going to be nostalgic like a vinyl record will.
Really?
I really don't think we'll ever get there. It's going to go the way of a Betamax tape and an 8-track. Like no one's clamoring over them. They're always going to be out there, but I don't think there'll be definitely people that are like big vintage collect. Like I know people that go out and spend hundreds of dollars on CRT TVs that I can go down to the street corner and find for free. But like there's going to be those people. I just don't think it's going to have like the mass appeal like a record did.
I can agree with that. My argument for that is like it's the only version of hard media that you'll be able to get of that. It's that only version of hard media. I don't know how to word that, I guess, but that's the only version that you'll be able to physically hold and like with music there are options.
Right.
There are CDs and record players and vinyls and like you have options if you really want and you can transfer it to other mediums.
Sure.
With movies it's like a VCR or a DVD or a Blu-ray is kind of different, but it's pretty much the same thing. You know what I mean? Like you can group those two things together pretty much. So it's just interesting to me that like I feel like that is why it will stand the test of time for me.
I guess the bigger issue with this too that might be a cause for concern is like you said, you can take a CD and you can burn it to an MP3. You can put it on an MP3 player. You can send it digitally, whatever.
Right.
But if we stop having the write feature on the DVD itself, I know back in the day I used to tape Monday Night Raw, and I'd have to be a read and write blank DVD that you put in there, and it would record over it.
Yeah.
But we also had the dual thing with a VCR in it, so you could tape something on the VCR side on the VHS tape and move it to the disc and burn it to the disc.
That's really
or if you had, Dumb and Dumber on VHS, you could burn it to a disc.
Right. That's really cool.
If they take away that feature, you can't even do that in a digital sense. Like I know when it first became a big thing, and I think that's why a lot of the security practices came about, is people would take like, oh, I got The Dark Knight on Redbox, I'm going to put it on my laptop and download the whole movie and return it. Now I have a digital copy of The Dark Knight.
Right.
Where this now hinders that too. Of we don't have that option, like you were saying, of having a digital medium anymore of it, unless we pay for a streaming service that happens to have it.
Right. I feel like it's one of those things where we're slowly getting pigeonholed into having to stream.
Not the pigeonhole.
It
dude, I know. I've been using that term a lot lately, and I think about that motherfucker all the time.
I've noticed it more recently because every so often Hulu will have a movie that Netflix used to have.
Yes.
And
they switch from one to another.
And just so you have to buy the other one to still watch that movie.
Right.
I had this conversation with my aunt the other day because she is on some new streaming thing, bootleg thing that she was bragging about. And I told her, she brought up the movie Great Balls of Fire. It's from like 1995. It's a Jerry Lee Lewis biopic. Yeah. And it's not on anything, and it never has been. And I told her when I first moved out, I bought 4 movies on DVD because I tracked them down, and some of them were harder to find than others. I bought Walk the Line, I bought Great Balls of Fire, I Saw the Light, and the 2005 Elvis movie. Because those are like 4 of my favorite movies, and I want to make sure I had physical copies because at the time, the only one that you could find on streaming was Walk the Line. So I went out and bought these movies, and like now they're all over. Great Balls of Fire is still not on anything. I Saw the Light, I think I have on Amazon. They took Walk the Line off Amazon, even though I paid for it.
Oh, that's
which
wild.
Is an interesting thing they can do now, by the way.
Because I know that you can buy movies on like your Amazon account, and then it will just stay there forever, and you can always go back and watch it. So that's interesting that they can take a movie off of that.
So yeah, I bought the line. I bought Walk the Line. I bought a line, and then I'm like, dude, I gotta watch something. I gotta take the edge off and calm down. So I bought a line, and then I went on Amazon, and I'm like, I'm gonna watch Walk the Line. And I had it bought already. I bought the extended cut specifically.
Right.
And I went and I noticed it said currently unavailable. And I'm like, okay, well, let me go to my section, my movies,
My
whatever it's called. Yeah. And play it from there. And I went to play, and it said unavailable, currently unavailable. I'm like, I paid like $23 for this digital copy of the movie. How the fuck are you going to tell me it's unavailable?
That's so wild. I did not know that Amazon could do that. Because I always thought that those movies in your My Purchased tab, that was forever. You purchased those. Wow. Very interesting.
That is where I'm an advocate still for physical copies. However, I am also like not the guy going out and tracking down DVDs.
I will say,
anymore.
I know I've bragged about it a couple times on the show, but YouTube TV's concept of like they do it like live TV with different channels, but then you can record movies and you can look up movies if they don't have it already pre-recorded, and like wait till it comes on one of those channels and it will record it for you, and then you'll have it in your library forever.
So what you're saying is in like 2014 we peaked, we had it right.
Yeah. People don't use, and that's the other thing. Yeah, people don't really use YouTube TV.
Yeah, nobody uses YouTube.
It's not a popular platform.
So
but
like,
it's a cool concept in theory.
Well, because I remember we had DirecTV growing up in like 2014-ish, and their whole big thing was you didn't have to buy a TiVo anymore. You could set things to record ahead of time. You didn't even have to watch the channel. You got like so many gigabytes to save.
Yeah.
You could schedule a show anytime it was on to record and avoid reruns and shit like that. That was peak.
Yeah.
That was fucking peak.
Yeah.
So we're going back to cable.
We've talked about 100 times, but yeah, I think we're going, and like HBO and Stars and Max and all of them are going together now.
Now I feel like it's not like we're going back to cable. It's worse than cable because we have too many options, and you have to be, like you said, you have to be subscribed to them all
of them to even get the content that you want.
Right, exactly.
They trade.
So it's like you're spending more money than you would have on a cable subscription on literally 10 different streaming services, or maybe 8 different streaming services.
Let me take it a step further, because I think we're beyond spoiled at this point, just having that much choice in general.
Yeah, I agree.
But I'll give you a personal example. Twice now, I have gone to watch a movie, and I've seen, it's on Hulu. I'll watch the fucking movie. And 30 minutes into the movie, there's an ad, and I go, I'm watching a movie. I don't want to see a fucking ad.
Yes.
And I go and buy the movie on Amazon.
Oh, wow. Okay, wow. No, I watched
So I'm spending more money.
watch the ads.
Oh, no.
I'm like, you fuckers.
Oh,
no.
No.
Yeah, it's...
If I really just want to fucking watch the movie, I'm not getting taken out by a Febreze ad 30 minutes in.
See, I have done that for movies that aren't on streaming services. I will rent the movie off like YouTube or something like that. It's only $4 or $8, whatever, so I don't care.
7 days to finish, 48 hours to...
Also, hang on, let me throw this out there.
Yeah.
Because Nacho Libre was the movie I fucking rented on Amazon. It was on Hulu. There was ads, so I rented it on Amazon.
Yeah.
You get it's like you said, 7 days to finish.
Or 7 days to start, 48 hours to finish once started.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I bought the fucking movie and it started me at the credits.
Oh.
So it was about to be like, oh, you watched the whole movie. It's done now. Fuck that.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, I caught it with like 11 minutes left in the movie, and I'm like, that shouldn't be a thing.
That's wild.
How did that happen?
And you have to. That's like I hated that about VHSs, having to rewind.
Yep.
Because then you would see the whole movie and you'd be like, well, I know, I remember. I remember what fucking happened now. I don't want to watch this anymore.
So that's an interesting concept. We have all these different streaming platforms and all these different ways to watch movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we don't have a main menu for movies themselves. You'd think it wouldn't be that hard to, if you started from a DVD, start a streaming service where you had all the menu options for each movie. Where I could be like, all right, let me start 3 minutes in. Here's the scene I like.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, scene selections.
Yeah.
This is kind of an adjacent topic. I was gonna bring up the point that, like, I think you said it earlier, but we have too many options.
Oh yeah.
Now. We have we don't know what to pick. We have so much stuff that we don't know what to pick, and we don't know what's good, and we don't know if we should get the new streaming service, if it's worth it. We have to wait, and then they have the new thing, and it's like, well, I want to watch The Office, so I guess I have to get fucking Peacock, you know?
Right.
Like, and so I think of there's this Italian place called Piata, and it's kind of like a Italian Chipotle.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Italian fast food, yeah.
Yeah. But they have pre-made options for you, and then they also have like the create your own.
Yeah.
And the first time I went with my fiance, she was like, well, I'm going to make my own. And I was like, no. You don't understand.
You don't know how to do it.
You don't know what you want. They know what you want. Because the first time I went there, I ordered, like, I made my own, and it sucked. It sucked, and it was a huge portion, and like it looked good, and I thought I liked the combo, but and so I think it's one of those situations of with the streaming platforms, like, you
can watch anything all the time, whatever you want.
And so it's just like, I don't know. I'm just going to scroll mindlessly until I find the perfect, and you never find that. So it always feels like you're settling on something. Like, well, okay, I guess I'll watch this.
Well, I think too, in addition to that, the amount of time you spend fucking scrolling and doom scrolling your apps and your options has drastically increased 100%. To where, like, I can sit down at 6 p.m. and be like, all right, I'm going to watch TV. And it's like 7:45 now, and I don't know what the fuck to watch because I'm going through everything. Whereas I've even had recently where I've come home and be like, I just want to turn on the TV and watch something. But I can't do that anymore unless I go to like Pluto. But like, I love Pluto. Don't get me wrong, but like, I'm tired of seeing the same 6 episodes of everything.
And then that's the YouTube TV argument for me too. Is like it plays out like a live TV would, where it has time blocks and different channels, and you can switch it. And it has commercials. And it has the end credits of the show, and then there's commercials, and then the beginning credits of the next show, and it functions very similarly to just like what circa 2012 cable was like, you know what I mean? And so that's why I think like it's one of those, I can just turn off my brain, turn on YouTube. And it's weird because I don't use YouTube TV that much. I just have it because I have YouTube Premium. But like, it feels like one of those things where you can just turn it on, turn off your brain, and let the shows scroll through, play through, whatever. And then you can change the channel if you want, and something else will be playing. You don't have to worry about,
that's another thing that you got me on that I begrudgingly pay for every month now without thinking about it, is YouTube Premium. I'm not watching ads anymore.
It's such a luxury. And then the 1 month that you forget to pay, or like, you know, you're like, oh, whoa, hold on. I can't lock my phone when I'm.
Yeah. So I don't use my, my personal YouTube account when I'm at the studio. So I'll go and I'll look up a video or something and it'll have ads. I'm like, wow, I forgot how much I hate having to watch, because now it's like 2 30-minute ads before a video. I'm like, I can't do this anymore.
It's gotten very bad. And
I know people that don't pay for Spotify Premium anymore, and I'm like, I don't know how you do that. How do you go back from that?
Well, it's interesting. I don't pay for Spotify Premium, but I'll use it sometimes just to rewatch the show or offer shit like that.
Do they give you ads for our show?
Yeah.
Really?
I get ads for literally everything because I don't have. They
do that for podcasts and shit too.
I don't have a premium account.
They never used to do that for podcasts.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. It used to be like you get 5 songs on an ad on Spotify.
They also they give you audiobook listening hours,
and you can't buy more.
Yeah.
If you send me a song on Spotify, I can't play that song. I can play that song's radio. So like
that's terrible.
I can only hear like a quick 15-minute like excerpt of it.
Wow.
And then if I click on it, it plays that song's radio, and it will be like it's like a Pandora
recommended. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, not having a Spotify premium account and using like Apple Music and something like that, and having other people around you send you Spotify stuff is really. I'm like,
I'll just start sending you stuff on YouTube then.
Oh, I use YouTube for literally everything.
Yeah.
I use it for music. I use it for watching content.
I want to know. Genuine question for anyone out there listening on Spotify: if you do or don't pay for Spotify Premium, number one, and if it's worth it. But number two, if you're listening without Spotify Premium, how often do ads pop up in the show? Because it's a 55-minute show.
Yeah.
And how often does that deter you from continuing to listen? Because I feel like if I turned on a podcast and had to listen to 30 seconds of ads, got 10 minutes into it, and there was another 30 seconds of ads that didn't relate to the show, weren't from the show.
Yeah.
It was just Spotify telling me to buy their shit, I'd turn it off.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, again, I haven't, but it's like just random. So we'll be in the middle of talking and then ad.
Yeah.
And so.
Okay, well, we're coming up on a full hour here. 216-859-8699. If you're listening on Spotify, if you're not using premium, let me know how many ads you encountered and the length of the ad. I want to know about it. And if you're not listening on Spotify, if you're listening on TuneIn, Anchor, Pandora, iHeart, Google, YouTube now, or if you're listening on WSRR Radio Live, let me know if there's a reason you choose one or the other. You should always listen on WSRR Radio, though.
Live 365. Download the app.
Yeah, take it with you wherever you go. Pairs with all your car stereos and speakers. Yeah, and again, 216-859-8699 is that number. You can also just go to the homepage, WSRRradio.com, and play us directly from there. I think that's where our top demographic is anyway. If I'm being honest, there's only one place to go for streaming because it's on 24/7. It's live. You get great content and a variety of it. And it's free. It's WSRRradio.com. And you can take us with you anywhere you go with the Live 365 mobile app. You can put us in your car. You can put us on Bluetooth speakers. You can put us in your headphones. You could be one of those terrible, annoying people that listens to it out loud on their phone in the store.
It's so easy.
You could even do that.
Yeah.
The Rebel Radio show's live every Monday, 5 p.m. right here on WSRR Radio, but we're also podcast form every Wednesday, 10 a.m. Eastern on Spotify, Pandora, Google, TuneIn, Amazon, iHeart, Apple, you name it, we're on it. The Rebel Podcast, 10 a.m. Eastern, all major streaming platforms, and you can catch Rebel replays on WSRR Radio at 5 p.m. through the week. You can also catch recasts of The Pigeonhole as well as Shaney's show Off Air.
I do show.
Those come out twice a month, the first and last Tuesday of each month on all major streaming platforms. But, of course, the whole runtime, schedules, showtimes, blogs, articles, interviews, and more is at WSRRradio.com. You can also get to our Discord server from there. You get exclusive content in the Discord server. You can chat with all of us and all the other listeners out there about things involving our shows, as well as conspiracy theories, liminal spaces, wrestling, Spider-Man, whatever you want. It goes down in the Discord, WSRRradio.com. And, of course, 216-859-8699 is that number to text in. That's 216-859-8699. Anytime you're listening to any program, that number is always open and available. Another quick shout out real quick to True Vault Escapades, weekdays 10 p.m. right here on WSRR Radio, as well as Synergy Music Studio in Chicago. So if you're in the Chicago area, you need a good studio to produce your music. They also do Synergy Live sessions, unplugged sessions, where they do video and light shows for you as well. But if you're not in the Chicago area, they do remastering as well. You can send them your music and they mix it down perfectly for you. I can attest, all of Synergy's music that comes in from all their artists, we put right on the air. I don't even have to touch them as far as editing process goes. They just go right into the system.
Love that.
But until next week, I've been Radio's Rebel DJ Style. To my right, Shaney.
Bye, everyone.
On the board is Jules.
Bye.
Peace.
Till I think